Okie dokie. Now, the hilarious irony is that Bobby Fischer himself did this once, and while the position was technically drawn, he ended up losing because it's difficult to do so. And this is one of the ideas to explain my dad's rule of don't be fancy. So the problem with being fancy here is that b6 closes the trap on the bishop. All right, bishop takes rook pawn, probable double question mark. Even in the case in the World Championship match where Bobby Fischer took it, and in that position there was a technical draw available, he failed to find the move and lost the game. Even Bobby Fischer lost. No one's perfect. And that includes Bobby Fischer. And that includes Kasparov. And that includes Magnus. They're great players partially because they know that they're not perfect. It's not possible to be perfect. Now, you can be perfect for a short time, couple of moves, a sequence of moves, or maybe even a whole game. It's super rare, even for the best of the best of the best. So the obvious answer here is that we could take this bishop. Now, he could do the same thing to us. The main difference we have, there is a difference. Well, he could just play g3. That's true, he could do that. Well, guess what? This involves the same idea that Bobby Fischer had. g3 here for white when it happens. Black plays f4. And the reason he plays f4 is that king moves to g2, well, pawn takes. Okay, and then he's going to have this freedom of the rook to come and help. But anyway, the move clearly shut the door on the bishop. Notice he's got no pawn to help him break down this trap. He did it. Now, two things. We could play either rook to d2 or f4. I think f4 is correct. Let's look at f4, king g2, threatening to take the bishop. And here's the key. You need to understand why each side is making the moves they're making. And we don't make this up to sound good. We have to look at it objectively. So he's trying to trap my bishop. That's clearly obvious. He's threatening to play this. What's he trying to do to me? It's my dad's golden rule. f4. King to g2 to take the bishop. Pawn takes pawn to stop it. It's temporarily, he cannot play king takes bishop because pawn is guarding it. So he plays pawn here. Then we hit him with rook to d2 check, giving a lateral defense of the bishop by checking the king on g2. This is the move. He gives up the bishop. We take it. That doesn't work. We've already said that this is the move. And the reason is I know this because I have the book of the World Championship match from 1972. It's an awesome book. Every move has a picture. So the whole book has, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 pictures, the board, every move. Just like you see here. Now, this is from 1972, long before computers. That's the only way to do it then, other than just printing the moves out. Who cares? That's boring. The revolutionary part of that book was that it was a picture for every move so you could follow it without a chessboard. Genius, to say the least. And now we just do the X-ray defense. The reason this is called X-ray is because the rook's attacks the king with check, but also it protects the bishop with an X-ray. Simple stuff. Now, this comes about for me because I was aware of a famous position in the first game, actually, of the 1972 World Championship match. Now, it's sort of, you could say, well, that's a nerd thing. Well, you study or look at games in World Championship matches or matchups of players that you appreciate their skill and, you know, okay, I'm interested, I see that. Because these ideas are not unique for the most part. And so there was a powerful lesson to be learned in the end game from the first first game of the 1972 World Championship match, and this Bobby Fischer did the same thing here. Well, but there was he had a pawn that could help him, but he just miscalculated because even the best of the best make mistakes. And so, because I have studied chess in the past, it just randomly shows a position that's very similar. Kaboom. And instantly I knew this was going to be the move, because that's the way chess patterns operate. When you study a pattern and learn from it, you spot it instantly. And, step by step, we solve the problem. I make it look easier than it actually is.